G'day everyone, Brian from Prime Cuts Lawn Care here. It's Sunday the 3rd of November, late in the afternoon. It's been a pretty horrible day. I haven't done much. It's a day off. I had yesterday off too, which was good because it's been pretty hectic and full on days. It's about 31, 32 degrees Celsius. It's been blowing a gale all day and the grass is going from green to brown. I'll actually show you some on my back lawn to emphasize that. But I'm doing the 150 service. It's actually 155-hour service, but as you know, I do it every 50 hours. So I'm doing that on the ZT6000 52-inch. So we'll just get a quick look at the oil draining, and then I'll do the filter. We might have a little walk around, and I'll just give a review of the ZT6000. Hopefully you can see that, everybody. The oil is draining down there from the ZT6000. I'll just let it run for a few minutes just to warm it all up, and it's draining well. I took the dipstick lid off so it's easier to drain, and that takes, I don't know, I give it a good 15 minutes and that'll be well and truly drained. So the oil stopped dripping, everyone. I won't show you that, but I'll just show you what I'm using today. So I'm using the 20W50 engine oil today because it's getting hotter. So that's a summertime oil as opposed to the 10W40. So that's the Kawasaki. It's got the zinc and all that sort of stuff, all the good stuff in it. So there's that's a US 1 quart, so that's 946 mils. I'm actually using a Sten's oil filter this time, 120634. Hopefully I'm reading that right with my glasses. 120634. Hopefully you can see that all right. And then at this one, I haven't changed the air filters yet because I blow them out and they've been pretty clean. So we've got both the inner and the outer air filters, so I'll completely change those over, and it is getting dusty. With that, I've got my little oil filter cup, so I can change it and twist it off, and obviously a socket. And then to go under the oil filter, I've cut out an old bottle so that will save any spillage. So we'll just get that done. So hopefully you can sort of see that okay, everyone. I've got a little cup, I've loosened it, well, sort of loosened it. Here we go. It's hand loose now. I've got the little container underneath it, which is good. Make sure I get any spills. It's just a bit of a spot here. And leave that in there so that it gets any excess. And then I just put the filter on the drip tray. Grab the new one. Put a bit of oil on it, on the seal. I won't show that because it's a bit fiddly there. And then Be careful, make sure it goes on freely, which is good. Put the cap on it. Before I do anything there, I will just remove this, which has the old oil in it, and I just got to be a little bit careful that I don't spill it everywhere. And we've got that. Come on, come out. Thank you very much, which it's done. I'll just throw that into the drip tray. Sorry you can't see that because it's all a bit close. So that's done, and then what I want to do is tighten up new filter. It's snug, that's good. Take that off. And look at that, not a drop. Must be getting good at this. But regardless, we'll still do that. And we'll just give it a double check. Oh, get in there. Oh. That's good. Take that off. So that's all done. We'll just top her up now with oil. Through the funnel. I don't mess about with the first bottle, I just whack it straight in. You've got to lift the funnel a little bit to allow it to breathe. It forms a seal so it goes in quicker without the seal. So that's in, so that's one lot done. And then what I normally do, I'll put in about 500 mils, so that and then I run the engine, let it settle, and then put in the balance. So that's I put in 250 there, so I gotta put in another little bit more. A good dollop, and just a tad more. So we'll just let that settle a little bit. So just started it, everyone, just to get the oil through the filter and all that sort of stuff. We'll let it settle, and then just check the level, and then top it up a little bit more. So the next thing is just the air filter. So I'll do that. Very simple. So you can see the new air filters there. Flick there, pull that off. Take the external one off, and you can see the dust on it. So it's time, but like I clean it out and it cleans up like a whistle, which is good. Take the blue one off. It's always pretty good. Or the internal filter. It's pretty good in there. I'll actually get another piece of clean paper towel. Whatever you do, don't blow it. Just wipe it. Okay, so that's pretty good. Blue one goes on. External one goes on. I'll just give that a wipe as well. And make sure the spout goes forward and down. And press it firm. Press it firm. Filter's done. Air filter's done. So I've just cleaned off the dipstick. I'll just put it in. I haven't put anything else in there. It's just hitting the bottom. So obviously I've still got a way to go. So we'll put a bit more in. Which we all knew was going to happen. We'll just let that go in and settle. And there's about, of the 2 bottles, there's about 200 ml left. So this will take, it'll take close to the 2 litres. I always like to double check, and then I'm not using this mower tomorrow, but I'll be using it on Tuesday. But before I go out tomorrow anyway, I'll check this oil, the oil level. No twisting down. So it's just below the minimum level. Good idea not to spill it on the engine, Brian. So we'll most probably put the rest of that in. I reckon it should be pretty close. Wind. Crazy day. Okay. Oops, tripping. Just clean that up a little bit. Got the oil filter off without making a mess, but when it comes to this, I'm just going to let that settle for a bit. So we've got about 1.9 litres in, because they're 946 mil bottles. So we're going to want about another 200 mils, 150 to 200 mils. So we'll give a good dollop, and that takes that down to about 740 on 750 on this bottle. I've cracked open another one, so I've got plenty spare, and I'll just lift that so it gets the airlock out of it. Let that settle, so I'll do a check in a minute. We'll just check that now. And I'd say it's pretty close. We might just do another little bit. So that's the, I'll call it the basic service done. So we've changed the oil at roughly 50 hours, changed the oil filter, and this time changed both air filters, both the inner and outer. So everything's fine with that. I didn't change the spark plugs, or I didn't change the fuel filter, because there's really no need to. It's running beautifully. Like the ZT6000s, I'll highly likely change both the fuel filter and spark plugs at 250. 150 review, no issues. I think everyone knew of the stop order on the Kawasaki motors back in earlier this year. It really didn't affect me at all, but everything else is fine. I had one issue the other day, and I'll just have to turn around the screen or the video to show you exactly what that was. So just to give you a perspective there, we're talking about over here, so I'm just going to move in, and it was to do with this bolt on the deck coming loose, and in turn this cog, sorry, my finger's in the way, which aids in, you know, the raising and the lowering of the deck, it actually fell off and lost it. So I'll give you another angle of that as well. So you can see the one at the front over here, and there's one over here at the back. So they're on all four corners of the deck, and it was this one here. As luck would have it, I had a spare nut, and I could get by until we got this part in, and that was $10. So it didn't make any difference to the cut quality or anything like that, which was really great. So when I say cut quality, if that's the deck, it didn't make any change either way. So either, let's call it left to right, or front to back, because it got it at the right height. And as luck would have it, the customer rang me 4 or 5 days later and said, I found it. So when I'm next out there, I'll have a spare. But it was more that nut, which it would have been nice if it was a lock nut, didn't come loose. And I'll just be a bit more diligent on things like that. But you would expect it to be pretty tight to start off with. I've checked all the other ones, and they're all fine. So 150 hours, other than that, no issues. You just say that's a bit of bad luck. Excellent mower, great mower. It's tough, and I go over some pretty rough stuff, and you know, it's going pretty well. I know I'm going to have to change the rollers, because I'll do that at the end of this season, because they're flattening out. Everything else is fine. I'm not doing the blades today. I'll do that late tomorrow afternoon if I can. So I'll just enjoy the rest of the Sunday that's available. So the other thing I wanted to show everyone was just really my backyard. It's my barometer. So you can see patches of green, but patches of brown starting to appear. And then as we move up the back here, you can see it's really browning off around the conifer. That's my barometer to say, yes, it's drying out. Here stays a little bit greener, but we haven't had decent rain for 6 to 8 weeks. So it's been a bit of a, I'll call it a spring drought, even though it looks green. So there's my front yard, still greenish, but patches of brown. Some of those patches though were clover or bindies where I've sprayed, so that's worked. And then if we go across the road, you can see the nature strip is browning off. So I'll just cross the road and I'll show you a couple of the lawns that I do. We're just coming into the circle garden, as you've all seen before. I've had the hose on it, but it's browned off. So I'm getting the sprinklers cranked up. And coming into the back of the historic property, this bit directly here, I did have the sprinkler on it last night. This is a bit deceptive because I sprayed the clover a few weeks ago and most of it is died. So, but it's still dry. So I've had the sprinkler on pretty much here, and then I've moved it over here, and I'll put that on again later when the wind dies a bit. So a little bit deceptive, but it is drying off a lot. So yeah, so there's a, let's call it a bit going on, and maybe in the not too distant future there mightn't be a bit going on because of the weather and things drying out. But as far as the ZT6000, it's a great mower. You know, other than that little issue, you know, no drama whatsoever. So I'm very happy with the Bobcat mowers that I have. So thanks everybody for watching. We'll just see what the future brings with the weather. I'll try and get you some mowing videos over this next week, because that's what I do. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you to all my subscribers, and I'll catch you soon.